In this video, we're going to check out one of the first ever projects that I created here in GarageBand iOS. So, let's go. Hi, my name is Pete and welcome to Studio Live today, where my goal is to help you create, record and release your best music. And yes, we are here in the time machine because we're going all the way back to 2016. I know it was a long time ago and I was just learning to create in GarageBand, and this here, we'll hit stop, was one of the very first projects that I ever created. It's a song called Chickens on Howard Street, which is an interesting name. I'll explain that at the end, but let's now jump in and take a look at what I was thinking and see if there's anything we can learn from going back in time. Let's jump in now. So let me set the scene for you. I've just created Studio Live today. I've just started learning how to use GarageBand and create tutorials, and I'm creating on my iPhone 5S, which is now my daughter's, hence why I don't even know the code to get into it anymore. And I created songs like this, and you can see here I've got some bass, I've got some touch guitar, some drums, some organ, some sampler, and even some vocals. So I thought it would be a little bit of fun to explore this, to see what I was doing 4 years ago. Does it still hold up? Probably not. And what can we learn from this? Maybe there were some things I was doing then that I need to start doing more of now. Let's jump in and take a closer look. Now, the good thing about GarageBand, sort of, is that it hasn't changed that much in the last 4 years. So back when I was creating on the iPhone 5S, I was using GarageBand 2.1, and now here in GarageBand 2.3.8, it is not actually that much different. So with this track here, I started with this, the bass, and the Liverpool bass is still something that you can use right now. So if we tap on this one here, you can see I use this in chords mode as opposed to notes mode. Notes means you have to know the notes there, but if you go to chords mode here, like that, then you can actually, and I think I used like an A and then the A. I think I just used these here. Let's just take a listen and see if I've got it right here. Yeah, so I'm using... Yeah, so I'm using some very basic things. And to give you a bit of an idea of what I was doing here, I used to sort of write songs and learn about GarageBand as I was walking around, which you're going to hear in a moment when you hear my lyrics. But that's how I created the bass sound. If we just play that. Yep. Just tick it along. That's cool. So yeah, you can create some pretty cool bass sounds here in GarageBand, and you can still do that 4 years later here using that. Let's take a look at the next track we have here. We've brought in some retro rock guitar here. Now, if I know me at the time, I was doing a weird thing here where I would do two guitars exactly the same, pan them left and right. Now, when you're using a virtual guitar, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense because you're basically just going to get the same exact sound straight down the middle. Now, if you're recording two guitars and you're doing two takes, you're doubling your guitars, this is a great way to get a really full guitar sound. I think I've probably just done these both on one side and the other. Let's just play the first one here. Yep, that sounds like it's over on the left, is it? Yep, that's pan to the left. This one, pan to the right. Well done, Pete. And the only reason this is actually okay is that there's some echo and reverb on here, which is a stereo effect. So it is giving us a little bit more stereo feel there. Let's see how I actually created these. Once again, we'll go into our virtual guitar instrument here. And if I know me, and if I know me from 4 years ago, yeah, I was going A, G, A, E, A. Let's just see if that's what I'm doing here. There's the A. So what was I doing? A, D, A, G, A. That's some interesting chord progression there, Pete. Well done. Okay, so yeah, I'm down with that. So that's what I was doing there. Again, I was just using the chord mode. By the way, if you want to learn how to use all these, at the time, in fact, over the first couple of years of this channel, I did a playlist or I did a series called GarageBand Quick Jams. And there's a playlist which I'll link up the top and in the description you can check out my original tutorials about all of these. And they still hold up today because, again, not a whole lot has changed since that version of GarageBand way back when. I know, it sounds like 2016, 2017, this sounds like forever ago. So there's my guitars and my bass, they sound like this. And I was probably pretty proud of myself with those at the time. Let's take a look at drums. So at the time, I would have put the metronome on here. I would have grabbed my studio kit. So we'll come to the drums here. Just got into our drummer here. And we've just got the classic kit. There we go. Let's see what Pete played here for this drum part. Oh yeah. Rock and roll. Not quite on the beat, Pete. What I lack in timing, I make up for in passion. So what I was doing here was just a bit of a... without the mouse click, but I'm just using that so you can see what I'm clicking on there. Now, this is something I still do with drums to this day, which is using two tracks. So I was clearly walking around playing my bass drum and snare, or kick and snare if you like, and then I've added a second drum here, which looks like it's probably my hi-hat. Let's play this. Yeah, there's my hi-hat. Yep, I'm just tapping there on the hi-hat. And it looks like I've also done my fills in here. Let's listen to a classic 2016 Pete Johns fill. Oh yeah, you know that you're good when you're doing the the three tom drums. That is about the only fill I know. I'm not a good drummer. Let's see what this fill is. Yep, the same thing. What do I do here? Oh, wow. Yeah, no variation here in my fills. If we bring those together, though, the cool thing is you can bring two drum tracks together and play them like this. And it actually, even for Pete walking along, back then, it's grooving along okay, yeah? I think that still sounds okay. What do you think? Cool. So we've got all of our instrumentals going on there. But when we kicked in here, I clearly needed a melodic instrument. I needed a lead instrument. So Pete would have been going, let's lean on an organ. And I was learning about the organ back then. And I do have a video I did a couple of years later, I think in 2018, all about the organ. And that one will be linked there and down below. A bit retro here today, aren't we? But let's see what the organ sound that I brought in here was and how I did this one here. There we go. Yeah. Oh yeah. Down low. Oh, I was all about the dolio. And this is the good part. So I would have been like very proud of myself that I learned how to go. Not quite that far. So they were the sort of sounds that I was playing there. I was learning to play the organ. Oh, right here on the keyboard, and I've missed the start of it. Yeah, I was really about that, wasn't I? That little sort of slide up there with the glissando here on the rock organ. Again, the rock organ back then was cool. Right now, still very cool. I was listening to a viewer's song the other day and they used the organ to perfection. I can't remember the name. Was it Marcel? It might have been you, Marcel. But yeah, there's some great instruments that we can use here, the virtual instruments in GarageBand. So we've brought all of that together and there we go. Now, I wanted to add some vocals. And I did promise that I would tell you the origin of chickens on Howard Street. So there is a street called Howard Street that has chickens on it in Adelaide. Some of you that are local may know where this is. But yeah, there's a road called Howard Street that has chickens. And when I was creating this song, I was out for a walk and I was walking down Howard Street and I saw the chickens on Howard Street and I was looking at the chickens and I was singing this song. And you can actually hear that because if I put the vocals on here, and I'm going to embarrass myself here now because why not, and just play this vocal track. Let's just hit play. You can hear the background because it's in my headphones. I would have had earbuds in there. You can hear me breathing. You can hear the birds. You can hear the wind. And then I start singing. Here we go.
Chickens on Howard Street. Everybody clap your hands.
Yeah, out of breath Pete singing. Rocket Pete.
Chickens on Howard Street. They always got their heads buried in the sands.
Yeah, we got poppin' peas, we got sloppy S's, we got everything going on here. So let's bring this all together because this is what I was singing along to. You heard it because it was bleeding through my earbuds, but this is the song all together here. Let's hit play.
Chickens on Howard Street. Everybody clap your hands. Chickens on Howard Street. They always got their heads buried in the sands. The chickens on Howard Street, they don't even got any feathers. They don't have a clue what's going on around them, but I still like them and I let you like them too.
That's enough of that. But the reason I'm sharing this is because this is the sort of thing that gets you to improve. And I'm embarrassing myself so that you don't have to. But this is what I was doing early on. And this led to me creating my first EP here in GarageBand, which led to me creating my first album in GarageBand, which led to me creating tutorial videos and more than 500 GarageBand tutorials on this channel. So I wanted to show this because it can show that in 4 years, I've come a bit of a long way, but there was the seeds of things there. And I say create, record, release all the time. And I mean it because if you are doing this, if you are creating things, I didn't release this, but you might create first, record. And then when you're ready to release, you're actually already at the level where you're happy to share things. I'm just a bit insane, so I'm sharing things with you that I wouldn't share with other people, except you. Let's have a look here because I actually use the sampler here as well. You've probably noticed this here. And what did I do with the sampler? Well, the sampler is really cool. If you've never played around with it, do it. Check the video in the description all about the sampler. You can see here I've sampled myself. I've just said street there. I don't really know what the rest of this sample was. I think I imported it here from the song. But if you look at this track, I've actually used this. Let's solo it and take a listen here.
Street.
Yep.
Street.
And there's this bit.
Street.
There's a big clump down here. What did I do here?
Street.
What? Yeah, okay. I was learning, and this is a cool thing. Just experiment. But let's listen to this in context of this song here. This is the part where I'm using all these samples here.
If you were a chicken on Howard Street, chickens on Howard Street, they got nothing going on except for what they do. They're the chickens on Howard Street, and I bet if you were like them, you'd be a chicken too.
Yeah, and it goes on like this. For almost a minute. And then I brought in, look, I've got another vocal take here, which I'm apparently going to double up my vocals, or maybe there's some harmonies here. Let's solo these, and just so that you can really get the nuances of these harmonies.
Let's hear it. Chickens on Howard Street.
Ooh, bit of harmony.
Chickens on Howard Street. Chickens on Howard Street.
Yep.
Chickens on Howard Street. They go cluck, cluck.
Oh, nice little flourish at the end there, followed by some wind noise and crackling on my phone. And again, it was this phone right here. And the beauty part is I can embarrass myself further because GarageBand has audio, what is it called? A non-destructive audio editing. So I could actually bring all this out. This is probably a worse take, and I'm going to regret this because I haven't listened to this in 4 years, but this would have been my first take of these vocals, which I don't actually know what I'm going to say here. Let's have a listen.
The chickens on Howard Street. Everybody clap your hands.
So that's where I got the idea for the for the samples. I was doing my own delay echo like sample there, and that's gold. Yeah, these are this is the reason why I keep all these old projects, because I knew one day it would be fun to come back here and take a look and a listen. But I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you had fun. This was just a little bit of fun for me to explore this old project, but there are some serious GarageBand tutorials for your serious music creations linked right down below and in the description. You can subscribe to the channel by clicking or tapping up there. And thank you for tolerating this, and I'll see you next time.